Today we are talking about all things facials. One of the most consistent pieces of feedback that we give dancers in our program or at mock auditions, outside of being able to dance full out for the entire routine and being consistent with that, is facials. I actually taught a class last week in San Diego. We did a little pop-up sideline session, and the dancers in class, after they got their feedback, they're like, hey, one of the most consistent pieces I find that I need help with are my facials. Do you have any recommendations on facials? And it can be very specific to a certain person. It can also be very specific to a certain team. I know that the Gold Rush and the Bengals specifically, they only want you to smile. But other teams like Raiderettes, they want you to have a little bit more dimension to your performance from a facials perspective. And then when you go into NBA, it's a little bit more, not as stringent, I would say, on facials, but it's really just bringing that entertainment factor and that liveliness to the routine, depending on if it's a hip hop routine, a jazz routine, a novelty routine, right? It allows you to have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to kind of NBA and facials. I will say consistently though, I can't speak for all teams, but I can speak for the coaches that I've talked to. Majority of them do not want you sticking out your tongue. I know that in the industry, it's fun and for hip hop, but please don't stick out your tongue at auditions. And then when you make it on a team and they're like, hey, you can stick out your tongue all you want, then you bring it forward. But if you're on auditions and I'm watching you and you stick your tongue out at me, I just don't want to see it. So that is my 2 cents on that piece. Also, before I jump into anything else, if you're like, hey, I really need help with facials and I need help with my performance and bringing the pro factor to my performance, I am hosting a free 90-minute workshop, and it is Perform Like a Pro workshop. And we will be covering all things performing with polish, with presence and power, and all of those things that you need to bring to the table to perform like a pro. And so if that is something that you're interested in, I will leave the link below in the show notes. But also if you head to our Instagram and just message me the word workshop, then I will send you the link, and it will be on April 30th at 6 p.m. PST. If you can't make it live, there's a recording, but if you can make it live, I highly encourage you to make it live so you can get some personalized feedback throughout the workshop. Anyways, okay, so I want you to think of facials in 3 different levels, right? So the first level is I want you to just smile. I was talking to a dancer the other day who went through our mock auditions, and I was watching her video that she posted from a class that she was taking, and she was doing 2 things. She was giving me facials almost every second and every move, and she was changing every single facial, and then her face would completely drop. And I messaged her and I said, hey, can I give you some feedback? And she was like, yes, please. And I said, 1, I want you to not change up your face as much while you're in every single movement. It almost looks like robotic of I'm going here and I'm doing this facial, and I'm going here and I'm doing this facial, and I'm going back here and I'm doing this facial, versus making a little bit more fluid and a little bit more consistent with your smile and the transitions. The second thing was the face dropping, right? So she was like, yeah, those are the parts where I'm thinking and I'm just thinking so hard that I can't do a facial, right? So the baseline of your performance really needs to be being able to smile for the entire routine, whether or not you just learned it and you're performing it in a class, you're performing it at an audition, or you know the routine really well, but when it comes to a hard part that you're like, oh shoot, my leap is coming up and I'm nervous about it, and your face drops, or you have to get down low and you know that it's going to be a grind to get low and then get back up. Hello for all my tall dancers. Then keeping your face a smile the entire time helps that be your consistent baseline, that no matter what happens, no matter what gets thrown at you, you can smile through the whole thing. And it can just be, if you're watching on YouTube, just a smile. You smile, you keep it on, plaster it on your face, let it reach your eyes. Don't let it just be dead in the eyes. Have a presence to your face, but that smile keeps you going through the entire routine. And I want you to just practice that every single class. Every time you're learning a routine, you're smiling. If no one around you is doing facials, we don't care. In TC land, we show up for ourselves. We do things that we know that we need to do, right? We have like our standards, which is we perform or 150% at all times. We show up with makeup on because you never know who's going to be in the room. And we look the part because we want to show anyone and everyone that we are ready to be a pro dancer. We are wearing either pants and a sports bra or shorts and a sports bra. That way we get really comfortable with being in the setting of what auditions are going to throw at us, right? So we're showing up, we're dancing full out all the time. We're wearing makeup, hair down and ready for hair whips. We have our lipstick on, we're ready to go. We're in our two-piece outfit and then we're doing facials all the time, no matter what, no matter where anyone is. Side tangent, okay? So we're back. Level 1, consistent facials at all times. Next level, once you get that and you're like, I feel like I am crushing this, no matter what happens, I have my facials. And you wanna know how you know that is you film yourself. So that, I forgot, is another piece of the TCC standard is that we film ourselves and we watch back film. I know it can be really hard to watch film. I used to struggle with watching film, but athletes watch film to know exactly what they need to do to improve next time, right? Sorry, I'm on one today. So I just looked it up. Why do athletes watch film? To analyze their own performance, identify strengths and weaknesses, and to prepare for future games by understanding their opponents. Your opponent is you, but you can show better than you did the last time. So you take a class, you film yourself, you watch it. Okay, how are my facials? How is my performance? How is everything I'm executing? Did I stumble? Did I drop my face? What did I do when I was dancing and performing? How can I make one small tweak, just one small tweak, 1%, right? One small tweak to make it better for the next time. That way, when you show up to auditions, you have all these foundational things already ready to go that you don't even have to think about them. All you have to worry about is being in the audition process, showing up as best as you possibly can, and nailing it. I was talking to someone about this the other day. You want the judges to have as many yeses checked off for you as possible. That is your performance, your hair, your makeup, your look, your fitness, your nutrition, the way you present yourself, the way that you talk to other people, the way that you do your intro, right? It's so much more than dance, so much more than dance. You want to get as many of those boxes checked off as yes, I want this person on the team. Yes, this person shows up like the veteran and she's not even a veteran. We are all over the place today and I just cannot help myself. We are showing up and we look at film every time we possibly can. Okay. So once we watch our film, we're like, oh my gosh, I'm at it. I have a smile on my face every single time I perform. Then level 2 is adding different facials depending on the movement and style of the routine. With NBA, it's a little bit easier because you do have hip hop, you do have jazz, you have different styles that you can play around with it a little bit more. But you have the ability to not just have your teeth closed and a smile on your face and it reaching your eyes, right? Because that's your smile. But you could have a little bit of a smile with an open mouth. So in preparation for today's podcast, I actually looked at some of the old photos that we have from when I was on Warriors, because our photographer, he used to send me photos almost after every game of me winking. And I honestly don't remember doing it at all. And I was hoping I could find it, but I couldn't. But I was looking at these photos and I was dissecting every single one of my teammates' facials, right? And everyone has their own personality and they have their own performance quality that they bring as an individual dancer. That's where you bring your individuality, right? Apparently mine was winking, but you can have a little bit of an open mouth and being like, you know, if you are listening to this and you want to see the facials that I'm doing, head over to YouTube or message me YouTube and I'll send you the link for this. But this one will be helpful to watch on YouTube because we're going facials and it's helpful. So I remember I was often told when I was growing up in studio, Amira, you need to do facials. You need to look in the mirror and you need to practice them. I did not want to do that because I felt stupid. But if you struggle with facials, it is helpful for you to be able to do that. And I remember being told to do the AEIOU, right? And while that can be helpful, I think we often think about dance and cheer and we go for the O face. And if we do that, or like even this one, like your mouth is open really wide in an O, that can look too cheery. And so it's finding that balance of like, I was looking at these these photos of us performing at playoffs. A lot of my teammates had just like a smile, but that open mouth with the smile. So it's almost like your top teeth are showing and it's a middle, like you're smiling, but you're opening your mouth a little bit. That is like a different way to have a smile, but add in a little bit of facials to your performance. And then if you're doing like a hip hop thing, you can get a little bit more funky or groovy with it depending on the movement, the style, and everything that's going on. So the next level of facials is adding in a little bit of variance to your performance based off of the moves, right? Like if you're snaking up, you could have like, that's why I wink, because I'm like, how can you be sassy? It's a wink, right? I was also looking at some of the photos of me and I would raise one of my eyebrows to make it a little bit different. So figuring out what is something for you of how you want to bring your facials and just adding a little bit of variance to your performance, right? Then you take class. You start testing out a little bit of variance. But like I said before, with one of the dancers I gave feedback to, you don't want to vary it up every single move, but you want to take the movement and the choreography and the song and be able to adapt your facials to the movement, to the style. Second level is adding some variance, but still sticking with your baseline of smiling the whole time, right? Just adding a little bit. Then level 3 is having your body, your facials, and your execution of your whole being portray the movement, the style, the vibe that you're trying to emulate. And that, when we talk about facials, is a part of it that gets missed, right? Like I'm doing the movements, I'm doing here, and I'm smiling. Just because you can do the movements doesn't mean that you're performing and entertaining. So being able to have some texture in your body that matches the choreography, that matches the musicality, that also matches your face, the way that it's being exuded, that is when everything comes together so perfectly and you're able to perform. So this last level is really adding performance and entertainment to your facials and making them come together and be able to make them into kind of a cohesive unit. So first we have level 1, being able to just smile throughout the entire routine. Level 2, you're adding variance to your facials and being able to have that smile throughout and then add other things on top of it. Next, you have melding everything together and really making it a performance from the routine that you're given. And like I said, it is something that you have to work on to figure out on your own of what you personally want to do. Some dancers do something that I personally wouldn't do with facials, but they feel really good and they look really good doing it, right? That works for their personality and their style that they want to portray as a dancer. And not everyone's going to wink like I do on demand. So figuring out how you want to bring a sassy jazz to the table versus a funky jazz, or even like a more gritty hip hop routine. Those are all different like personas that you have to put on, and then figuring out what facials go with those different styles. And honestly, it's not just the style of the routine and the facials that go along with it, but it also comes in again with that music and the choreography that's given to you that helps really dictate the facials that you're doing and how you're bringing that performance to life. So if facials is something that you work on, I hope that this is helpful for you. I would love to see any videos that you take at class or recordings that you do. Tag me at the Cultivate code. And if this was helpful and you feel like you need more support with your performance and being able to perform like a pro, I highly encourage you to join us for the free workshop that I'm doing on April 30th at 6 p.m. PST. Join live, watch the recording, and I cannot wait to see you there because I think it will be super helpful for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me at the Cultivate Code, and I will talk to you next week.